It started with a simple letter. On a quiet Monday morning, Michael opened his mailbox and found a notice from his HOA demanding that he pay a $500 fine within 10 days. According to the letter, his property was violating community rules. The problem was that Michael had no idea what they were talking about. His lawn was trimmed, his house was clean, and nothing had changed for months. At first, he assumed it was a mistake. He had no idea that this single letter was about to trigger one of the biggest battles his neighborhood had ever seen. Michael contacted the HOA and politely asked for proof of the violation. Instead of receiving an explanation, he was met with silence. Days later, another letter arrived. This time the fine had doubled. The message was clear: pay now or face even more penalties. Most homeowners would have given up and written the check, but Michael was different. Something about the situation felt wrong, and he decided to investigate before handing over a single dollar. What he discovered shocked him. The violation photos attached to his case were weeks old and appeared to show a completely different property. The address didn't match. The landscaping didn't match. Even the color of the house was different. Michael realized the HOA had either made a massive mistake or hoped he would never question them. Confident that the issue would be resolved quickly, he sent them the evidence. But instead of apologizing, the HOA doubled down and insisted that the fine was valid. At that moment, Michael understood this wasn't about rules anymore. It was about power. The HOA board believed they could pressure homeowners into paying without asking questions. They expected compliance. They expected fear. What they didn't expect was someone willing to fight back. Michael began documenting every email, every letter, every phone call, and every meeting. While the HOA thought the matter would quietly disappear, he was building a case that would soon expose far more than a mistaken violation. As weeks passed, neighbors started approaching him with stories of their own. One family had been fined for a mailbox that had been approved years earlier. Another homeowner received repeated warnings for a vehicle that wasn't even theirs. The more people talked, the more a disturbing pattern emerged. Residents weren't being treated fairly. Many felt intimidated, but nobody had ever challenged the board publicly. Until now. The next HOA meeting was packed. For the first time in years, homeowners filled every seat. The board members appeared confident as they opened the meeting, but that confidence quickly faded. Michael stood up and calmly presented his evidence. He showed the incorrect photographs. He displayed email records. He revealed contradictions in the HOA's own documents. One by one, the excuses began to fall apart. The room grew silent as residents realized what was happening. The board had been caught. But Michael wasn't finished. He then introduced testimony from multiple homeowners who had experienced similar issues. The meeting transformed from a routine gathering into a public reckoning. Residents who had remained silent for years suddenly found their voices. Questions poured in from every direction. Why were fines being issued without proper verification? Why were rules being enforced inconsistently? Why did some homeowners receive warnings while others were punished immediately? The board struggled to respond. Their authority depended on the belief that nobody would challenge them. Now dozens of homeowners were demanding answers. Tension filled the room. Every attempt to dismiss concerns only fueled more frustration. What began as a $500 fine had evolved into a neighborhood-wide movement for accountability. Within days, the story spread throughout the community. Homeowners who had never attended meetings before started showing up. Records were requested. Policies were reviewed. Financial decisions were questioned. The closer residents looked, the more problems they found. The HOA leadership suddenly found itself under a level of scrutiny it had never experienced before. Then came the moment nobody expected. Faced with overwhelming evidence and growing pressure from the community, the HOA quietly withdrew Michael's fine. No apology. No admission of wrongdoing. Just a notice stating that the violation had been removed. They hoped the controversy would end there. They were wrong. The withdrawal only convinced residents that Michael had been right all along. Soon afterward, several board positions were challenged, new elections were held, and major changes swept through the community. Rules became more transparent. Enforcement procedures were updated. Homeowners gained greater access to records and decision-making processes. The same HOA that once believed it could intimidate residents was now being forced to answer to them. In the end, Michael never wanted a fight. He simply wanted fairness. But by refusing to back down, he exposed a system that relied on silence and fear. His story became a reminder that authority without accountability can quickly become abuse of power. And sometimes, all it takes is one homeowner willing to ask a simple question: can you prove it? That single question changed everything.